Welcome to the Baseball Brewhaha. It's your spot for obscure baseball trivia. Today, we're talking power and speed. I'm Aaron. That's my identical twin brother. Join us today for a cup of coffee and some trivia. I just say, who needs breakfast when you got coffee and trivia?
I sure don't. But those who do,
Feel free.
pull up a seat, stuff your
Side of
face, and
bacon.
listen to some trivia.
Grab a side of bacon.
All right. So we've got the power speed combination. We're talking 40-40, but not quite. Our question here is which player of these which player, and we've got a list of four, was the closest to achieving 40-40 without actually reaching it. And this may include someone who at some other time got 40-40, but we're looking at an individual season, someone who got oh so close, but missed it. The narrowest of margins. So our candidates for today: Andre Dawson, Willie Mays, Alfonso Soriano, and Rickey Henderson.
Yeah, I mean that's a credible list of great players. As I was thinking through that list, I was pretty sure that Alfonso Soriano got there, but I wasn't 100% sure. And I thought maybe this was like who got the closest out of these four players. And so I kind of crossed him off. And even though you think of Willie Mays was a fast and hit for a lot of power. Rickey Henderson obviously stole a ton of bases, but didn't hit. I don't think he even got sniffed 40 home runs in a season. Maybe he did, but folks, comment below your answer as well as set me right on my Rickey Henderson trivia. So I actually went here with Andre the Hawk Dawson. He could hit, he could run a little bit. So that was my thought here. I went Andre the Hawk Dawson.
Great choice. Yeah, I went with Rickey Henderson on this one because of the steals, and he had some power. And I was thinking, even if he got into the 30s with home runs once or twice, he might have been that person who got the closest without making it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, and again, we don't know the answer to these questions when they come up. We read them. We've done a little bit of research to provide some color commentary, but so here we go. We're gonna figure out what the answer is. So you've got Andre Dawson. I've got Rickey Henderson. The correct answer is Alfonso Soriano, who may have gotten there with a 40-40 at some point. I don't remember either, but this particular season, and I actually remember this season now that it's like coming back to me because he was so close. He had 39 home runs, 41 stolen bases.
Yeah. Yeah. So he did, Soriano did. I did some, he did get to the 40-40 mark. And I did some research on 40-40 and 30-30 seasons, see who got the closest. There have been 4 40-40 seasons, which is pretty incredible that there have only been 4. But you think about 40 home runs and 40, I mean, you just don't usually see that combo. So you had the first was Jose Canseco in 88, and then you had I have this list here. A-Rod was in 98. And then you went Soriano in 2006. Who's my other one here? Oh, Bonds in 96. Bonds in 96. So that's the list. Interestingly, there were several people who came up one steal or one home run short. Guys like Vladimir Guerrero Sr., um, Matt Kemp in 2011 came up one, I believe it was one home run short. This was interesting looking into because, so as you know, the first time it was done is 1988. Okay, Jose Canseco, 1988. That's a ton of baseball history to cover. The first guy to come remotely close was Ken Williams, not
Mm.
the Ken Williams that you're thinking of for the Chicago
From the
Bulls.
White Sox. Yeah.
Well, I mean, maybe he played for the White Sox, but he played in 1922.
Oh,
Um,
that's not the guy I'm thinking of. That's
Not the
for sure.
guy. Yeah, well, I mean, and he wouldn't. The guy we're thinking of wouldn't have even been allowed to play in 1922 because of
That's right.
the color of his skin, which is
Yeah.
unfortunate. But he went 39 jacks, 37 stolen bases in 1922. It wasn't until 34 years later that Willie Mays came close. I don't have the numbers off the top of my head, but he came close. And then, I think it was Bobby Bonds came like one home run shy in 1973. So that would have been 15 years before Canseco.
Hmm.
But so there were some guys. I was a little, as I was thinking about, it, I was a little bit surprised that Mays didn't do it because of how fast, he was fast and hit a lot of home runs. I was surprised he never, but he never did. He never got there. I suppose though, if you gave him 8 more games,
Yeah.
same with Bobby Bonds. I can't remember when they changed this 162, but if Mays had 8 more games, I bet he would have done it.
Yeah. Yeah. Eras are important. I mean, even thinking about Ken Williams, probably in the same boat.
Yeah,
So, but yeah, I mean, you sharing all those dates and numbers, I mean, just shows how rare that is, and the speed power combination to be at that level. You're hitting that many home runs, stealing that many bases, um, is a special thing we don't get to see very often. We've been fortunate to see it, 4 times in our lifetime.
yeah,
But who knows when it'll happen again?
yeah. And we had a close call in 2019. Ronald Acuna went 41 home runs, 37 stolen bases. I think the challenge in this era is that teams are well. It'll be interesting to see with some of the new rules in place because teams have been pretty quick to, a guy who's going close to 40-40 is a superstar. And you don't want your superstar on the shelf because he
Yeah,
broke a finger stealing the bag.
yeah,
So, teams have been pretty quick to shut down the stolen base side of things, and so it's pretty tough to get there. But with some of these new rules and more of a inclination to run, um, that's coming back into the game. That element is coming back into the game. It will be interesting to see. I think a guy like Ronald Acuna is who I'd consider most likely. I'd like to think a guy like Julio Rodriguez could do it, but I'm not quite sure he ever gets there on that level. He could, but I don't know if I don't know if he'll steal enough bags or I don't know if he'll be a 40 home run guy. Could be. So, what do you think?
yeah.
Is there somebody in today's game that you're looking at that you think could be a 40-40 guy other than Vladimir Guerrero Jr.?
uh, I was
Or
thinking about
or
I was thinking about Mookie Betts, but he might be a little like he's starting to get to the point where like guys have to be young too, right? Like
yeah, yeah,
in terms of like injury and trying to protect their body. and then also just speed wears down a little bit. So Mookie Betts, he's young-ish, could maybe. I don't think he'd get the steals, and his career high in home runs so far is 35. So might be a little tough. Gosh, I don't know. I mean, a younger Paul Goldschmidt, but he's
I don't think
he's
like that though.
no, he's not going to now. So gosh, I don't know. There's got to be someone in the minors, maybe an up and comer. Here's a name to put in your cap for Mariners fans. Cade Marlowe stole 42 bases.
Yeah, I mean,
in the minor leagues.
I like Cade Marlowe. I don't think he's ever getting 40 jacks. I don't think he's sniffing 40. Oh, and he's on the shelf right now. So
that's true.
Yeah. I think my money's on a guy like Acuna.
Yeah.
I think he could do it. To stay healthy. That'll be interesting because he played last year, but he's still coming off of a significant knee injury. So that'll be interesting. As I was doing some research here, I was looking at some guys who made the 30-30 club and were even relatively close to this 40-40 mark. Some guys I was really surprised, like Jeff Bagwell, twice, Dante Bichette, Larry Walker, Joe Carter. I was like, some of these guys was like, I mean, a younger Joe Carter, but still, it just in some ways it goes to show that the era that was different. Like you let these guys steal, and when I think of Larry Walker, Jeff Bagwell, Dante Bichette, I think of them in sort of their 30s when they were more power than speed. But when they were younger, I mean, these guys were really good players, versatile, who were hitting 30, doing 30-30. I was surprised at that list. I mean, a guy like Vladimir Guerrero Sr. getting real close didn't surprise me that much. But some of those other guys, I was, I think of slow white dudes. Ellis Burks made that list too. Not a white dude, obviously, but I think of him as being a stolen base guy. So, well, that's going to wrap it up for our show today. Hope you enjoyed your side of bacon. We did not have bacon, but we had coffee. Comment below. We want to hear from you. Who do you remember? Who's your favorite power speed combo player of all time? Subscribe, like. We'd love to hear from you. And
send us your questions.
Yeah,
some questions from you all to answer.
Stump us, as you figured out today. It's not that hard to do. We'll be back tomorrow. Hope you join us. Till then, we'll see you.